Greetings, everybody. This is IP with another video. It's been a while, but this one is going to be about the film Suicide Squad. Yes, another superhero film. I wouldn't say it's my best, but it's one of, you know, the ones on my list. Um, Certainly a classic in its own right. Original. It was directed by David Ayer. Excuse me. It was directed by David Ayer, and you know, one of the things that's noteworthy of this film is that the heroes are, in fact, villains. Um, but the scenario is played out to where there are bad guys going against evil people. Um, it comes into play based upon the bad guys having a code. The main characters are Deadshot, who is a hitman in Gotham City that works for hire, um, an arch nemesis of Batman, Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie, and Deadshot, played by Will Smith. I forgot to leave. I can't leave that out. Then you have Killer Croc, who's another uh, famous villain for the Batman series. Then you have Captain Boomerang, villain for the Flash, and then you have um, Diablo, who is kind of in a league of its own as a villain. Um, I'm leaving out one person, Slipknot, who's also a villain, and then you have Katana, who is kind of in between. She's a samurai that is out to protect the best interests of her retainer, who is Rick Flag. They're all commanded by Amanda Waller, and if they do not succeed, they're prone to die. And that's why they're called the Suicide Squad, because it's somewhat of a suicide mission where they don't reap benefits, and if they fail, the odds are against them. It's almost like a lose-lose situation. They tell the story from the villain's perspective. You get to see Batman from Deadshot and Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn perspective. They also have the Joker, may I add, but he's not the focal point of the story, which is interesting. One of the things I like about this film is that um, they do it from the villain's perspective because it creates empathy for those characters, and you start to relate to them more, and they don't come across as bad as you thought they were initially. And it kind of speaks to societal norms and what we deem evil and what we deem as uncivil. So David Ayer, the director, come from the rough side of the tracks. He used to get himself into trouble before he joined the Navy, changed his life around, and became a productive citizen, and ultimately a director. And he exemplifies those type of elements in his film. If you look at where he's from LA, and he grew up around a lot of Mexicans, and the Latino community was his influences, and you can see that through Diablo, who is an LA gang member who had supernatural powers where he can manipulate fire. Um, the main villains for this is Enchantress and her brother Incubus, and they want to destroy the world as of opposed to what a villain would do, which is probably steal money or anything like that. So you know they just show the difference between someone who has higher ambitions as an evil villain rather than someone who's a local thug, if you will. So I think they did a good job of portraying that. And the cinematography was excellent. They used this green fog or this green tint type color where, you know, it gave it a really grim design. I won't say grim, but it kind of had an edge to it. The cinematography, it looked like I was reading a comic while watching it. The aesthetics really lent itself to the storytelling. The costume designs were amazing. The makeup, which they won an Oscar for. The scores, the music varied. It was really interesting to see how they utilize music for different genres, from modern to classic, and back to modern. And the diversity in this film was spot on. You know, they brought different ethnicities to these characters, which is in line with the character's lore if you pay attention to it. So it was a unique addition to the DCEU. I think the film is loved by fans across the board, but kind of hated by critics. But this is the type of film that I don't think was made for critics. I think it was just meant to be a classic for fans if you already invested in the DCEU storyline. So yeah, that's my take on Suicide Squad, a classic film, and check it out if you haven't. IP signing out.